Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our third class on the Fiqh of the Sallah. What we've covered so far is like the time of Salah, the shurut of Salah. Then we went on to the Mu'adhin, the Adhan, and we'll just continue from there. Okay, so just quite a brief summary of what we've done so far. Okay, so continuing, we're going to look at the shurut, meaning the conditions of the mu'adhin. So the adhan is not correct except that it is rendered and given by a Muslim male who is of sound mind. Okay, so he cannot be mentally challenged or anything like that. It has to be sane. Okay, and then the adhan of a kafir, meaning a non-believer, or a person who is insane, again, is not correct because they are not from the people who are making ibadah, meaning they aren't going to perform salah. Okay, and then for someone who's insane, salah is not compulsory on them, so technically they aren't going to perform salah either. Okay, then the adhan of a minor child who is of sound mind is correct. So a child of 6 years old, if he has a nice voice, then let him make adhan, even if he doesn't have a nice voice either. But if he is of sound mind, that's fine. Then the time of salah should have begun. So we said this previously. You can't make adhan for dhuhr before the time of dhuhr has entered. Okay, so the time for dhuhr must have started, and then you can make the adhan. Okay, and then also the tawqeed, meaning the sequence of the wording of the adhan. Okay, so each word after the other in sequence. You can't mix up the words, you can't mix up the verses. Okay, one of the verses which gets quite mixed up would be Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. So which one comes first? Sometimes when you make an adhan, you might just ponder which one comes first. It is basically, the first one is Hayya ala salah, come to salah, and then Hayya ala falah, come to success. Okay, that's just a side note. And then also the complete adhan should be rendered by one person, so you can't interchange. And then the words of the adhan should be recited continuously without long pauses in between, so you can't read one verse, take a walk and then come back. Okay, then the things that are mustahab, meaning preferred for the mu'adhin. Okay, so it is preferred, it is not compulsory, it is preferred. So it is preferred that the mu'adhin be mukallaf, meaning he is baligh, meaning he has reached the age of puberty, and free, he should be a free man and not a slave. So this doesn't really apply to us at the moment, but 1400 years ago, slavery was present, and the first mu'adhin was Sayyidina Bilal, and he was a slave, and they freed him, and then he became a mu'adhin. Okay, so you have to be free, and you have to be preferred that you are free and that you are mukallaf. Then it's also preferred that he who makes the adhan, the mu'adhin, must be a just person, because he has been entrusted with the times of the salah. So he has to be an honest and just person. Just if it's not, then he might make, if he feels I've got a meeting in 5 minutes, the salah only starts in 10 minutes, let me make the adhan 5 minutes early so I can get to my meeting earlier. Okay, so in that regard it would be wrong. Like we said previously, the time for salah had to have come in. Okay, so he has to be a just person. Then he must have a powerful and high tone of voice in order for the people to hear. Nowadays we've got microphones and speakers and stuff, so it's not as important. But back in the day, your voice had to carry throughout the town, and everyone had to hear. Okay, and then also he must have a beautiful voice. That not necessarily, it is preferred. So when people hear the adhan, they actually listen to it attentively and enjoy it. Okay, and also when non-Muslims hear it and they refer to it as the singing, I've had people refer to it as the singing, especially like for Fajr. So like people who live in the vicinity of a mosque, they'll say the singing starts quite early in the morning. Okay, so if he has a nice voice and it sounds like singing to them. Okay, then he must be clean, tahir, so clean from the major impurities, meaning he shouldn't be in a state of janaba where he requires a ghusl, and he must be in the state of wudu. Okay, so it's preferred that you have wudu before you make adhan. Okay, and then he must stand on a high place facing the qibla while giving the adhan. So once again, the high place just to let your voice travel throughout the town or city, and then the other and you should face the qibla. It is preferred that you should face the qibla. And then he must turn his face, not his chest, to the right when he says Hayya ala Salah, and he must turn his face, not his chest, to the left when saying Hayya ala Falah. So Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala Falah. Okay? So you don't turn your entire chest, you just turn your head. Okay, to the right and then the left. Okay. So those are the things which are preferred for the mu'adhin. Those are the mustahab. Okay. Now we'll look at the dua when hearing the adhan. Okay. So the person who hears the adhan called should by himself repeat the words of the adhan after the mu'adhin. So for instance, when the mu'adhin says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, then after he said that you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, after him Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Okay, so not together with him, after him. Okay, and then when the mu'adhin says Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala al-Falah, meaning come to Salah, come to success, the listeners should say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Okay, so for the rest of the adhan, you just repeat exactly what the mu'adhin is saying. But for Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala al-Falah, when he says either of those two, you say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Okay, so during the adhan, we say Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala Salah twice, and then Hayya ala al-Falah, Hayya ala al-Falah twice. So you'd say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim 4 times. Okay. And then the translation of that is there is no protection against evil and no power to do good except with the help of Allah the Mighty, the Great. Okay? And then when the Mu'adhin says in the Adhan for Fajr Salah, As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm, meaning Salah is better than sleep, then we should say Sadaqta wa bararta, meaning you have said the truth, you have said what is good. Okay, so during the Fajr Adhan, the Mu'adhin includes the verse meaning Salah is better than sleep, and then upon hearing that you say Sadaqta wa bararta, meaning you have said the truth, you have said what is good. Okay, and then now for when the Mu'adhin says the Iqamah, so just before the Salah starts, the Mu'adhin stands up and he says the Iqamah. And while he's reading, part of the Iqamah goes قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, meaning stand for Salah, stand for Salah. And then you as the listener should say أَقَامَهَا اللَّهُ وَأَدَامَهَا مَا دَامَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَجَعَلَنِي مِنْ صَالِحِي أَهْلِهَا, meaning may Allah establish and perpetuate the Salah until the skies and earth remain, and may Allah make me of the pious inhabitants of the world. Okay? Then when the Mu'adhin finishes the Adhan, you must first read Salawat on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and then the Dua. So when he's done with the Adhan, you first read Salawat on the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then you read the following Dua. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمد الوسيلة الفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد, meaning, O Allah, sustainer of this perfect call to prayer and sustainer to be worshipped in this coming of Salah, we beg of you, grant to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the wasila and fadila, meaning those places of a high rank in the hereafter, and granting the exalted position of the maqamul mahmud, which you have promised him. Okay? And then when we're reciting the dua for Maghrib Adhan, this dua should also be read. So for the Maghrib Adhan, another extra dua comes along, meaning going Allahumma hadha iqbalu laylika wa idbaru naharika wa aswatu du'atika faghfir li. Meaning, oh Allah, this is the coming of your night, the passing of your day, and the voice of your order. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Okay? Faghfir li, please forgive me. Okay? So that is for Maghrib. After Maghrib, after the salawat and the normal dua after salah, this is also optional, also prescribed, preferred to read this dua for specifically for Maghrib. And then for Fajr, after Fajr Adhan, the following should also be read. Okay, so we had a specific dua, extra dua for Fajr, for Maghrib. Now we've got one for Fajr as well, and it goes Allahumma hadha iqbalu naharika wa idbaru laylika wa aswatu du'atika faghfir li. Okay, meaning, oh Allah, this is the coming of your day, the passing of your night, the voice of your order, so do forgive me. Just basically the opposite as for Maghrib. So from Maghrib we go from day to night, and then from Fajr we go from night to day. Okay, so the wording is just changed. Okay, and then also make dua between the adhan and iqamah, because the dua between the adhan and iqamah is accepted by Allah. Okay, so for instance, for Dhuhr, the adhan goes, and then you make your sunnahs, and then you wait till the rest of the jama'ah comes, which is approximately 10 minutes, and during that time it's mustahab to make adhan. It is probably not definitely accepted, but the probability of it being accepted is quite high. Okay, so that is one of the times that is filled with blessings and rahmah. Okay, so we've looked at all the shurut that has to be in place before the salah, so the adhan, the cleaning, all the shuruts of the salah, the mu'adhin. Now we're going to be looking at the fara'id of salah. Okay, so now it gets more important. So we've done the shurut, now we get to the fard, which has to be, must be in place, must be correct. Okay, so there are 17 fara'id within the salah. Okay, so all the within the salah, meaning the actions and what you read, all of that. Okay, so similar to any other type of ibadah, the first fard is always the niyyah. Okay, and the niyyah for salah changes respectively with each salah. So it basically just the name and the number of rak'ahs during within the salah, those will change from niyyah, between the niyyahs, but overall the body of the niyyah stays the same. Okay, so firstly the niyyah for Fajr salah is نويت أصلي فرض الصلاة الفجر ركعتين مستقبل القبلة أداء لله تعالى. Okay, so meaning I make intention to perform Fard Salah, Fard Fajr, consisting of 2 rak'ataini, facing Mustaqbil al-Qibla, facing the Qibla, Ada'an Lillahi Ta'ala, only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, similarly for Dhuhr it goes, نويت أصلي فرض صلاة الظهر 4 ركعات مستقبل القبلة أداء لله تعالى. So again, I make intention to perform Fard Dhuhr Salah, consisting of 4 rak'ats, facing the Qibla, only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, then for Asr it goes, نويت أصلي فرض صلاة العصر 4 ركعات مستقبل القبلة أداء لله تعالى. And then for Maghrib, نويت أصلي فرض صلاة المغرب 3 ركعات مستقبل القبلة أداء لله تعالى. And then for Isha, نويت أصلي فرض صلاة العشاء 4 ركعات مستقبل القبلة أداء لله تعالى. Okay, so can you hear the main parts of the niyyah stays the same, just the words and the number of rak'at. So for Fajr we had rak'atayn, meaning 2. For Dhuhr we had 4 rak'atin, 4. And then for Maghrib we had 3 rak'atin. Okay, so meaning 3. Okay.
We're on page 7.
Page 7. Okay. And then we also have the niyyah for Jumu'ah Salah, okay, which is only on a Friday, and it takes the place of Dhuhr on a Friday. So for Jumu'ah Salah it will be similar. نويت أصلي فرض صلاة الجمعة 2 مستقبل القبلة أداء مأموما لله تعالى. Okay, مأموما meaning basically in congregation. Okay, so in this manner the niyyah should be made for every salah, and in the niyyah the salah is mentioned, meaning for example Fard al-Asr or Fard al-Maghrib, etc. It is neither Fard nor Sunnah to add lillahi ta'ala. Okay, so it is neither Fard nor Sunnah, so it's basically just added. Okay, there's no it's not compulsory to say, and it's also not it's not a Sunnah, it's not as the Prophet ﷺ did. Okay, it's just added. That's I think custom or tradition basically. So to say lillahi ta'ala at the end, so it's neither fard nor sunnah. Omitting it does not nullify the niyyah, as all salah are only performed for Allah. Allah forbid if any salah is done for one besides Allah. This is shirk, meaning ascribing partners with Allah. Okay? Then generally it is not fard for the imam to make niyyah for his imamat. Nevertheless, this niyyah, his niyyah for this is merely sunnah. However, it is fard for the imam who performs the Jumu'ah Salah to perform a niyyah of his imamah. Okay, so like we heard, the difference between the Jumu'ah niyyah and the other 5 is Salah, Fard Salat al-Jumu'ah, that's 1. Rak'atayn, which would be similar to that for Fajr, and then at the end after Adha, we had Ma'muman, meaning in congregation as a follower. So if you were the Imam, you'd have to say Imaman. Okay? So only for Jumu'ah it becomes, you just see, it becomes Fard. So only for Jumu'ah does it become Fard for you to say if you are a mu'min or the imam. Okay, so for the imam, for the other salahs, he doesn't have to add imaman lillahi ta'ala at the end, or basically just imaman. He would just add, he could have left out, but for Jumu'ah he would have to include it because it is part of the fard niyyah. Okay. So if he fails to do so, his salah would be incorrect. So if he does not make niyyah for being the imam, doesn't make the imam for the niyyah for imamah, then his salah would be incorrect. Okay, and then just as the fard salah, the name of salah is mentioned, so also should the name of every salah be mentioned. The number of rak'ahs before the fard. Before the fard qabliyatin or after ba'diyatin. Qabliyatin meaning just as the fard name of salah mentioned, so should the name of this. Okay, this regarding the sunnah. So qabliyatin, the 2 rak'ahs before dhuhr. Ba'diyatan, qabliyatan before, and Ba'diyatan after. So the Qabliyatan would refer to the 2 rakats before Dhuhr or Asr or Isha or Fajr, and then Ba'diyat, and we'll refer to those after. So after Dhuhr, the 2 after Dhuhr, the two after Maghrib, and then the 2 after Isha. Okay? So you add that to the niyyah. This applies to all the sunnah salahs like Tarawih, Salatul Tarawih, Salatul Duha, Salatul Tahiyatul Masjid, Salatul Ishraq, etc. Just to say I perform sunnah salah is not sufficient. Okay? And then to perform a niyyah in the heart and mind for wudu, salah or fasting, etc. is fard, whereas to express it with the tongue is sunnah. So you don't have to say your niyyah out loud. It's sunnah to do that, but the fard is, you know in your heart that I'm going to perform Dhuhr Salah now, if it's Jummah and you are the Imam, I'm going to perform Jummah Salam or Salah now, and I am the Imam. I am leading the congregation. So in your heart you have to, that's where the niyyah actually is, actually where the intention should be, and on the tongue, meaning you are saying it, that's only sunnah. So it's fard for you to be in the heart, and sunnah for you to speak it, to say it out loud. And then the niyyah of the heart is much stronger than that of the tongue. Okay? Because sometimes your mind wanders, and then it's Dhuhr time and you say now it is sorry for Salat al-Maghrib. And because your mind is like all over the place, which actually shouldn't be, at that time you should focus, but we aren't perfect. So at that time maybe you were thinking you had some problems or something, and you'd say Salatul Maghrib, and then without knowing it, but in your heart you do know I'm going to perform Asr Dhuhr now, so then it will be fine. Okay, because the niyyah of the heart is stronger than that of the tongue. Okay. Then niyyah with the heart in fact means directing oneself with full intention towards something and fixing a goal in front of oneself. Okay, so you get into the state, Allah Akbar, I'm going, I'm going to perform your salah now, whether it's Dhuhr, Fajr or whatever. Then the Takbiratul Ihram, this is the second form of the salah. So we've done the niyyah, the different niyyahs, how the niyyah should be said, it should be in the heart. Sunnah, it's sunnah to be on the tongue, and if you are the imam for Jumu'ah, you have to make the niyyah for being the imam, etc. Okay, so now the second form of the salah is the Takbiratul Ihram, also called the Takbir Tahrima. Okay, so this takbir is to say Allahu Akbar with the niyyah. So when you say Allahu Akbar, that's your Takbiratul Ihram. Okay, so Allahu Akbar, then you fold your hands. So that is the Takbiratul Ihram, that's your first one. So now the Musalli should have no other thought and be completely directed towards the Salah as he gets into communication with Allah. Because when we're making Salah, we're standing in front of Allah, we're reading Quran, and there's a connection between us and Allah. Allah hears us, and in that state we are very close to Allah, or possibly the closest to Allah that you are throughout the day. So when we're performing Salah, okay? Except for this takbir, all other takbirs are sunnah. So the first one, the Allahu Akbar, when you pick up your salli, that is fard, and all the others. So now when you go into ruku, you go Allahu Akbar, all of the others. And when you come out of ruku, Sami Allahu liman hamida, and then you go down again into sujood, Allahu Akbar. So all the other Allahu Akbars throughout the salah, except the first one, will be sunnah. Okay? It is sunnah that at the time of reciting the takbir, both hands should be lifted above the shoulders in such a way that the palms are turned towards the qibla, while the thumbs are parallel to the bottom of the earlobes and the fingers slightly tilted towards the qibla. Okay, so above the shoulders, palms facing, let's say this is the qibla, palms facing towards the qibla, and then towards the qibla, while the thumbs are parallel So parallel to the bottom of the earlobes, bend it forwards towards the Qibla a bit, so like this, and then some people say it's sunnah to you touch your earlobes, or if you're not touching, okay? So facing like that. I don't know if they mean parallel like this or I think parallel like this, and then bend it towards the Qibla, okay? So it's quite in detail. It should
Isn't parallel like this?
they say parallel to the bottom of the earlobes. So my earlobes are round, so what's parallel? I think parallel like this.
Okay. Yeah.
So facing forward, parallel, and then the thumb should kind of try and face towards the Qibla as well. While the thumbs are parallel to the bottom of the earlobes, and the fingers slightly tilted towards the Qibla. So parallel, and your fingers slightly tilted towards the Qibla, slightly. So not like that, just slightly. Okay? And then you go, Allahu Akbar. Then men must keep their fingers spread apart, whereas women should keep them tight together. So men apart, women together. So palms facing the Qibla, fingers apart, thumbs parallel to the bottom of the earlobe. Allahu Akbar. Females closed, same, just closed fingers. Okay? Men should also keep their elbows slightly away from their sides when lifting the hands. Women, not so. So for men, your elbows slightly away from your sides. Okay? So don't knock the guy next to you. It's like body when you like if you're a bodybuilder, now you want to knock everyone around you. Just slightly away so that you don't inconvenience the guy standing next to you, or in case of the girls. Okay, the girls actually don't do, they keep their arms basically tucked in against their sides and fingers closed, okay? So just for the guys, just slightly, let's say slightly is about that. This is normal tucking, slightly, okay? And the head should be kept slightly forward, and then so the head should also be kept slightly forward. So not leaning back or straight up, just a bit forward. Okay, so if you can see, maybe just a bit forward, just tilt your head a bit forward. Okay, so because when you perform your salah, you should be able to look down there where you're going to place your head. Okay. And then the takbiratul ihram, meaning the first Allahu Akbar, it is sunnah to say it softly. So you don't say Allahu Akbar for the whole world to hear. Okay, softly, unless you are the imam and the congregation is big, then you say it loudly so that everyone does hear. But when you're performing, if you are the mu'min, the follower, then you just say it softly. Because if the whole congregation, the whole Jamaat is going to be shouting Allah Akbar, people are going to think, hey, here's a gang of Muslims coming for us. Okay? So only the Imam will say it loudly just to make sure that the whole congregation, the whole Jamaat hears. And if you as the Musalli, as a mu'min, the follower, you say it softly. Okay? The Imam and the Ma'moon should, when the necessity arises, recite the Takbir aloud so that the Ma'moon follower and the Jama'ah can hear him. Okay, so the like we just said, the Imam should, if there is a necessity, like if the congregation is big, if the mosque is big, and then you'd say it loudly. If the power was out, there was no sound, so you'd say it loudly. And if it's too big, then, for instance, if the mosque is too full, people are standing outside, which happens in Stellenbosch quite often, and if there's noise outside, so when the muadhin, when the imam picks up his Salah, Allahu Akbar, it's generally not heard clearly from outside. So one of the guys standing more towards the back of the mosque, he'll just basically just reiterate. So he'll just say it loudly to have to have the rest of the Jama'ah outside also here. Okay? So he'll just say it loudly as well after the Imam, not together with the Imam. After the Imam has picked up his Salah, then he'd say it. This is also, if you look on the TV, on ITV and stuff, when they broadcast from Makkah and from Medina, you will hear the Mu'adhin, after the Imam has said Allahu Akbar, he'll say Allahu Akbar again. So that's just to make sure everyone heard. Okay? And then, that being said, under no circumstances should the A of the Allahu Akbar under no circumstances should the A of Allahu Akbar and the Ba of Akbar be pulled so as to sound like Allahu Akbar. This should nullify the Salah from the outset. So you don't pull the consonants. So you're not going to go Allahu Akbar. You just say normal Allahu Akbar. Okay, so you don't you don't extend anything in there beyond what it's supposed to be extended. So Allah, that's extension. You can extend that a bit. And Allahu Akbar, there's no other extension. All the others are just flat normal. So Allahu Akbar. So that nothing of al at the beginning and no bar at the back. There's Allahu Akbar. If you do make this mistake, if you do this, then your Salah will be incorrect from the outset. Okay? Then we'll look at the third fard of the Salah, which is the Qiyam. So when you stand, so after you say Allahu Akbar, now you're standing upright. And we will see what happens during this standing. So Salah should be performed in a standing position. However, the sick, aged and weak who have valid excuses may sit or lie as the body strength allows. So we'll normally see some of the older brothers or of the community, they'll normally perform Salah sitting on a chair, or you can even sit on the floor, depending on how strong you are. Okay. Some people will perform 2 rakats standing and then they'll sit the other 2. It just depends on how strong you feel. Okay. So don't push yourself so that you fall over, or you aren't, or you get some people, when they sit down on the floor, they won't be able to get up again. Okay, so just pace yourself basically. Just know your limits and don't overexert yourself. When a person is unable to stand up by himself, but will be able to do so if he should stand leaning against a pillar or supporting himself by any other means, even if it be against someone else, then it is not right for him to perform his Salah sitting down. Okay. So, for instance, if your foot is sore and you can't stand on your foot, but you can balance on one foot, then you are able to balance. If you're not able to balance, then take a seat, son. So if you are even if you cut your foot or something and you are able to balance on one foot, then you are required to stand. Okay. And for instance, if you broke an ankle or something, you've got this cast on. If you are able to stand, whether it be leaning against the wall or leaning against someone next to you or a pillar, if you are able to do that, then go for it. Okay? I think we've got a question.
Oh, not a question, just a comment.
Okay?
What happens if it's like maybe shy Salah in the mosque and someone leans against you and the Imam stands long in front?
Then you have to be strong. Yeah, like if it's gonna be a long Salah, then just use the discretion. Okay, and like with the Tarawih, just use your discretion, your brothers.
I'll just pretend I need to go take a look. You stand somewhere else.
Yeah. Or like if you know that if this, say for instance, you know this Imam is gonna take long, you know, he needs like nice long surahs in the Salah. Then if you see this guy coming with his broken leg and he's standing next to you and you know he's gonna be leaning against you, then you just tell him, take a seat, son. Okay? So also it's important not to inconvenience the person standing next to you, whether that be by leaning against them unnecessarily or the smell. If you are a smoker, if they perhaps don't like the smell of smoke or garlic. Actually, I think it's actually makruh to eat garlic before you come for Salah. Okay, just so that you do not distract the person standing next to you. Okay, because at the time of Salah, everyone wants to focus and actually should try to focus completely on their Salah. That time is the time between that you devote to yourself and Allah. Okay, so don't inconvenience. Try not to inconvenience the person standing next to you in Salah. Okay. And then the full takbiratul ihram should be done in a standing position. It is wrong. It is wrong the way some people sometimes do with their haste to catch the imam in the ruku, in order to catch that rak'ah. So when firstly the general rule is if the imam is in ruku and you get him while he is still in the ruku, you join the salah while he is still in the ruku, and you join him going into the ruku while he is still in the ruku, then you've got that rak'ah. However, if you got to the rak'ah and when you came out of the ruku, now they were standing again, and then you joined, then you missed the rak'ah. So what a lot of people do is they come in and they put their shoes on and say Allahu Akbar, there the imam is going in the ruku. Now they rush. Now you just hear the people of Salah, they can hear on the floor someone's running towards the Salah. And then you want to do everything together so that you can get that rak'ah. So you got Allahu Akbar, okay, which would be incorrect. So your Allahu Akbar should be in the standing position, then you go Allahu Akbar into ruku, then you quote the Salah. Okay, but if it is so that when you say Allahu Akbar and then the Imam came, while you said Allahu Akbar, the Imam came out of ruku, then you must sleep. Okay? So they then recite the takbir and at the same time go into the ruku. So this is what generally happens and which is wrong. That is wrong, and such a salah must be repeated. Okay? So Takbiratul Ihram, it is the first fard of the second fard, of the salah. The first one was the niyyah. The second fard of the salah, and being a fard, it has to be performed perfectly, correctly, and it should be, as said, it should be done in a standing position. So Allahu Akbar. Then your Takbiratul Ihram is done. Then you can go into ruku if you want to catch that rak'ah. Okay. They should recite the takbir, fold the arms, stand upright for a moment, then again say takbir and then mina. So Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Okay? Except for Salatul Janazah, it is sunnah to recite the dua ul istiftah after the takbir al-ihram, meaning normally when we start Salah, Allahu Akbar, then we did the dua ul istiftah, which goes وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا مسلما وما أنا من المشركين إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا من المسلمين. Okay, so normally before after Takbiratul Ihram, then this is a sunnah, then you recite the Du'atul Istiftah, then only do you begin, as if you are the Imam, then only do you begin with reciting Surah Fatiha. Okay? So this is the Du'atul Istiftah is sunnah for all the salahs except Janazah Salah. Okay? And the translation of it goes as such: as an upright Muslim, I've turned my face to Him who created the heavens and earth, and I am no mushrik. Verily my sunnah, verily my salah, my sacrifice, my life, my death is for the sake of Allah, sustainer of the universe. He has no partner, and so have I been commanded to do and believe. And verily I am from amongst the Muslims. Okay? If someone arriving late follows the Imam and fears that if he recites the Du'atul Istiftah as well as Surah Fatiha, that if he recites the Du'atul Istiftah as well as Surah Fatiha, he will not catch the Imam in the ruku'. It is compulsory for him to leave the Du'atul Istiftah and proceed with the Fatiha. So, for instance, let's say for Maghrib. So for Maghrib, the Imam reads out loud. So if you join, if he's still reading for the first two rak'ats of Maghrib, the Imam reads out loud. So if you catch him while he's still in his first rak'at and now he's reading, he finished reading Surah Fatiha, now he's reading, for instance, a short Surah Wal Asr. Now, Wal Asr is quite short, so now you're joining. So now if I'm going to read the Du'atul Istiftah, the Imam is going to be in ruku' already. So in that case, it becomes compulsory. It's false for you to skip the Du'atul Istiftah and immediately start with Surah Fatiha, and which is the fourth fard of the Salah. Okay, so if there is a chance, or if you are, for instance, if it's Asr, now the Imam he reads softly, so you're not sure. So if you are unsure, rather be safe, better safe than sorry. So then forget the Du'atul Istiftah and just start with your Surah Fatiha. Okay? So we'll just do this last one, which is the fourth sunnah of the Salah, which is the Fatiha.
And fourth farad.
Oh, correction, the fourth farad of the Salah, the fourth fard of Salah. And then we'll stop here for today, or when we've done this. Okay, so the Fatiha, as I said, is the fourth fard of Salah, and it means it is fard to recite Surah Fatiha with Bismillah in every rak'ah. So not just Alhamdulillah, with Bismillah. Okay, I think this is specific to the Shafi'i madhab. However, the Hanafi, they don't say it out loud. I think they say it softly. Okay, but I think I'm just thinking. I think I'm not sure with regard to the Bismillah with saying it out loud and saying it softly. I think for the Hanafis, for us, it's sunnah to say it out loud. Like it's fard to say it Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then you start Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We say, I think it's sunnah for us to say it out loud, whereas the Hanafi, I'm speaking under correction, they don't say it out loud. Okay? So it is sunnah, it is found to recite Surah Fatiha with Bismillah in every rak'at, whether you're reciting it softly or loudly. So if it's Dhuhr or Asr or Maghrib, you have to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Okay? And then it must be recited correctly, so no letter or tajdeed may be mispronounced. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Okay, so every letter should be correct. You should try to your best. Try your best to try and perfect the recitation of this surah. seeing it is a form of one of the faraid of Salah, and if you do recite it incorrectly, your Salah would be incorrect as well. Okay, so like I said, no letter or tashdid may be mispronounced, left out or changed for any other syllable or letter. All the tajdeeds of Surah Al-Fatiha must be read correctly. If one of these tajdeeds is not recited properly, the salah will not be valid. So tajdeed meaning the Ar-Rahman Nir-Rahim. Okay, so you can't mean Ar-Rahman Nir-Rahim. Okay, you have to read it Ar-Rahman Nir-Rahim. Okay, and this is quite with regards to tajweed, the surah is quite very simple. There's no ghunna or ikhfa, anything like that. It's quite, Allah has made it so easy for us so that everyone, regardless of the quality of reading, they can learn it and learn to read it correctly. Okay, and then if one of those tajdeed is wrong, the correct sequence of the verses should be retained, and pauses in between should only be long enough for the imam to take a breath. So don't extend the pauses unnecessarily. For instance, just for emphasis, let's say maybe if you want to extend the pauses just to make it a bit more emphatic or just for emphasis, that would be incorrect. It should be just long enough for you as the imam to catch a breath, okay? Or if you perhaps have something in your throat or a cough, then you can, okay? Like extend it with a valid reason. Furthermore, Surah Fatiha may only be interrupted if one wishes to remind or correct the imam in his recitation, if and when he should get stuck or make a mistake. If the muqaddali, meaning the follower, wishes, he may make any sunnah dhikr which is allowed in salah. So it is sunnah to first recite A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Okay? So it is if the muqaddali wishes, he may make any sunnah dhikr which is allowed in salah. Okay? So any of these sunnah dhikr you can make while performing salah. So while the imam is reading Surah Fatiha, you can't read Surah Fatiha. You only read it after he has finished. Okay, this is in the case where he reads it loudly, we actually know, okay, now it's ended. But in the case where he's reading softly, like for Dhur and Asr, you may not know, so then it's fine. So one of the sunnah dhikrs is A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim, softly before commencing with Bismillah. It's also sunnah that when one has said Wala Dhalleen, and then after that you say Ameen. Okay? We're on page 7. So is that the law?
Yeah.
Obviously, consecutive.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So actually can't finish this today. Finish this in our next lecture. Okay, so yeah, so during the salah, you can recite sunnah dhikr such as the first one which we mentioned is A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim, and then when after the you read that after softly before commencing with Bismillah. So if the imam has finished reciting Surah Fatiha, for instance in Maghrib Salah, and now you're going to start with your Surah Fatiha, then before you say Bismillah, you say A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Now you start with your Surah Fatiha, and then when you it is sunnah also when you get to the end of Surah Fatiha, for instance, with the Imam is reading loudly, it's Wala Dhalleen, when the congregation goes Ameen. And also this is also specific to the school of thought. So for Shafi'i do this, however Hanafi doesn't do that. Okay, the Ameen at the end of Surah Fatiha. Seeing at our notes that we've printed ends there today, ends there. We'll have to continue in there today and then continue with our next lecture. And then since exams are coming up, our final exams, this will be our last class for the year. And we will continue with our classes next year, inshallah. Shukran for everyone who has attended so far, and I hope Allah gives us the opportunity to continue with these classes and have it reach out to as many fellow Muslims on campus in Stellenbosch as well as all over Cape Town, just to make it easier for them to learn something new, to learn how, for instance, how to perform wudu correctly, which we have covered, how to perform Sallah correctly, which we will be covering, which we have started with now, and we'll carry on with that next year, inshallah. But yes, may Allah just give us the opportunity and the strength and the time to continue with this initiative, and may it be a source of enlightenment to those who do watch, and may Allah bless us all. And if I have said anything incorrectly, I apologize. Just in the YouTube comments, if you feel I've said anything correctly, you can just comment there and we'll have a look at that. And then we have a few questions which you haven't answered yet. We'll have that. We'll answer those like from the previous lectures. We'll answer those next year. We'll make. I think we'll before we continue with this, we'll just clarify or just give answers to those questions which we had so far, and then we'll continue with this, inshallah. But until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Muslim.
Water.